Hey, friends, thanks for stopping in. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about walking by faith and not by sight. Yes, walking by faith and not by sight. Manifestation means that there is stuff that you don't know, but you believe. Manifestation is merely getting a desired result. And it's the process of getting those desired results that I've been talking about in my shorts for the last maybe 2 or 3 weeks. I've talked about Mark 11:24. Whatsoever things you desire when you pray, believe that you receive it and you shall have it. That is believing in the unseen realm, believing at the time of prayer that you have what you want. I talked about in Matthew 10 when Jesus asked a blind man, what did he want? and so he talked about the importance of knowing clearly what it is that you want when you approach God. We talked about, let's see, several other elements of getting desired results based on Scripture. The idea, the whole process of manifestation. People have all kinds of thoughts about it, but it's something that was actually first demonstrated by God at creation. Now we're not going to talk about creation tonight, but God spoke over a situation and created something out of the unseen. He created the earth and all the elements of the earth out of what was not seen. And so, in order for you to function as a spiritual person with God's spiritual kingdom, you have to understand these principles and these methods. And that's my goal, is to share with you from Scripture how Jesus used these methods. Other people in Scripture use these methods. Tonight we're going to talk about Abram from the book of Genesis and how he demonstrated faith. You know, how he listened to what God said and he acted upon it. And he did that for a long time before he got the manifestation of what God promised him. So we're just going to start talking a little snippet of it tonight. I'll be talking about it, this week and maybe into next week. I don't know, it just depends. But tonight we're talking about walking by faith and not by sight. We're talking about Abram in Genesis chapter 12, in the first chapter, just the first verse. I'm going to read a little bit. I'm going to be looking down because I'm reading from my Bible that's right here. So here we go. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, get thee out of thy country, from thy kindred, and from thy father's house, and unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. So that's all I'm going to read tonight, but let's talk about that a little bit. So God told Abram to do 4 things. He said, I want you to leave your country, leave where you live, leave where your business is, your home. And Abram had a lot of stuff, believe it or not. He wound up with a lot more, but he had a lot of stuff. But God told him, leave your home. And then he said, leave your father's home. So he's separating him from the things that he knows, the things that are close to him. And then he kept going. He said, and leave your kindred. So not only, Abram, do I want you to leave your own home, pack up all your family, all your possessions, everything that you want to take with you, that is yours. I want you to pack it up and leave. And then I want you to disconnect from your father's estate, and then I even want you to disconnect from your kindred, your extended family, cousins, aunts, uncles. And then he said, I want you to do all this, and I want you to go to a land that I will show you. That's all God told him to do. And if you think about it, it's like, oh, it's pretty simple instructions, but what's going to happen? What's going to happen on the way? Where am I going? Who am I going to meet? What is my life going to be like? I'm sure Abram wondered about those things, but Abram decided, and I believe because he already had a relationship with God, he was worshiping God already, and so I think he had a level of trust in God's reputation and his faithfulness that he decided to walk by faith and not by sight. He decided to trust God's instruction, and he decided to trust and have an expectation on what God had promised them. Now, so those are the four things that God told him. Then God told him another four things. God told him, okay, this is what I'm going to do for you. When you obey me and do what I said, then I'm going to make you a great nation. God told him, I'm going to make you a great nation. Now, understand, we'll talk about this, that he did not have any kids. He was very old, and his wife was very old. And the first supernatural promise that God promised was that I'm going to make you a great nation. I'm going to work a miracle in your life that's going to cause you to become a great nation. Then God said, I'm going to bless you. Abram was already blessed. God said, I'm going to bless you some more. So he was blessed in all areas of his life. That meant his health, that meant his finances, his social life, his protection. God promised to bless him. Okay, and then the third thing God promises, I'm going to make your name great. I'm going to give you a great and massive reputation. You're going to be known throughout all the world and all down in history. That's what you call a great name. We're still talking about Abram today. And then the last thing that God promised is that Abram himself would be a blessing to others. So what did Abram do with all that? Abram cooperated. Abram didn't look at the fact that there were a lot of unanswered questions. He believed in the Most High God, who was a supernatural God, and he knew the stories of God and how he had delivered and helped other people before him. And so he trusted that, and so he was confident that this is going to work out for my good. God's going to do what he says. I don't know how. I'm not even going to try to worry about how. I'm not going to try to figure it out. I'm just going to walk by faith and not by sight. And as I walk by faith and not by sight, then God will begin to guide me and lead me along the way. And at the appointed time, the promise is going to come to pass. The manifestation is going to come to pass, and I'm going to get the desired result. I'm going to get the promised result. So this same principle, why is this important? This same principle applies to us. God has told us to walk by faith and not by sight. And he told us what faith is, that faith is the substance of things hoped for and is the evidence of things not seen. So we trust in the unseen realm. We believe it before we see it. We have confidence in our expectation because we know that the Most High God is working in our behalf and is causing angels to engage in our lives. It's causing situations to work in our favor. It's protecting us from seen and unseen dangers. That's what's walking by. That is the essence of walking by faith, is trusting God. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Make sure to like this video, share it with somebody that you like and love, and stay tuned for the next tidbit, snippet lesson. Thanks.